everybody, listen. I know how we can save this, but I gotta go get the other two boys. Just trust me, the crippled man, to go do it. I can go do it. Hey, Yuzu, I'm not letting you out of there. You're just gonna run away. No, I won't. I promise. I don't know. Seems pretty suspicious. I am talking about killing you in all of reality. Letting you out of that tube means you might try and run away. I won't. In a related note, where's the port out of here? It's around the corner. Why do you ask? Nothing. So are you going to let me out of here? You know what? No. Time is of the essence. I'm going to send the crippled guy to go run around my giant fortress looking for two kids who are in some random hallway. So, that was my little sum up of last week's episode. Not that it was bad, just I didn't really get a chance to record the rest of the week, except for when I did my Food Wars review, and I didn't really see any need to overly go into last week, except for that little joke there, which I've been holding on to since I saw last week's episode. But now, pretty much, we're on to this week. And honestly, when I realized what was going on for this week, I got really disappointed. We've been building up Yugioh versus Yuri with the way it's looked in the OPs, and I've been waiting to see more of Yuri's deck. So when the two finally started dueling, we had to skip for 2 more episodes, and they just stood there. I imagine they probably took a lunch break, and then they had to go to the bathroom, and then they had some ruling questions, and then they started debating which of their universe's girls were hotter, something like that. You know, guy stuff. You know, they totally just sat there and waited for all this other stuff to go on. But you know what? When all was said and done and this week's episode was over, I freaking loved this. Like, this was really interesting. I mean, we're still going to get the Yugioh-Yuri clash, and that is still going to happen. But this was really interesting because you think about this for a minute. This episode brought Edo and Kaito's arcs in this series to a perfectly beautiful close. So first up, the thing I really liked about the whole duel between, I guess Yuri wasn't really involved, just Yugioh and the other two. What I really liked about that was that once it started, it didn't stop. Once this episode got going, the action was quick, it was fast, and it was relentless. They didn't try to overly stretch everything out. They didn't overly dramatize everything. Both duelists got a final duel to really show how good they are and not just make them out to be chumps. Don't forget, Greedy Venom is actually getting a lot of attention in the OCG, if anything, for some of its annoying loops it can create. But that is a powerful card, so letting that be the thing that stops them made sense, and it was what I saw coming. But the rest of the duel was really good too. Again, we saw Kaito and Edo do what they do best. Use their best strategies, use their best monsters in ways that made sense. But it's not even just the duel. It's the fact that Edo tried to talk Yugioh down, and he succeeded. Don't forget, Edo was a bad guy in this. He was a violent lunatic like the rest of Academia, and Yugioh saved him. Same with Kaito. Kaito was off the rails too, but got saved and inspired by Yugioh and the others. And I thought that was going to be it, but no, they actually gave it a really good closeout. Because don't forget, they could have easily just beaten Yugioh in the duel, or at least tried to beat Yugioh in the duel, and it would have done the same. But when I realized Edo was trying to talk Yugioh down, when he was trying to use emotion and try and connect with him, the things Yugioh was trying to teach him, that really fit with me because I just love that kind of thing because it's bringing it to a close in a way that's not over the top. If you want to go back to the Synchro Dimension arc, even though there was a lot I liked there, that finale really for me was just too much with the duel. The whole city was under chaos. People were literally being killed in front of us, and then it's like, oh, card game, now we're all happy and we're friends and all that. It's not that I'm against doing something like that in this sort of a show, but the thing is, when you make that turn into that much darkness and go that sort of intelligent and mature with it, to have a really just like cheesy ending like that doesn't feel earned. This felt earned to me, and the thing is, it wasn't big and over the top. It really was just, this is what I've learned. This is how far I've come. And now I'm going to do the ultimate thing, and I am going to do that to help another. I am going to try and bring that back, and that is what Edo did in this episode, and it was really emotional, and I found it really relatable. And then the whole thing with Kaito, too. At the end there, where Kaito, A, he trusted Edo to finish the duel, and then B, he also puts his trust that Yugioh can beat Yuri. I mean, I doubt Yuri's going to actually lose the duel, but the thing is, that's Kaito's arc, too. Kaito was alone. He didn't want to help anyone. He didn't want to didn't trust anyone. He was just this violent lunatic just going out and doing what he does. But the thing is, here we see he has now opened to people. He is now willing to put his trust in others. Again, all thanks to the influence of our main characters in our main story. It's a beautiful way to do it, and it's not shoving it down your throat. Yeah, Edo gave a little speech, but the whole thing still relied on his ability to personally connect with Yugioh. And I thought that was really well shown here, and it made for a really great thing. And when the new Destiny hero was summoned, and that's how we saved Yugioh, not by defeating him, but by bringing him back to reality, reminding of the girl he loves, reminding him of all that has happened, and how he has to be better than that, and how that is how Zark is taken out from Yugioh in this duel. Oh god, it's just so good, and I just so loved it. Now, as for anything else in this episode, nothing really else to talk about. It's really cool. The only other thing I want to say is I thought the whole Leo having a flying thing looked kind of silly. But yeah, no, I really like what was done here, and I really am glad we are still going to get the conclusion of that duel we want. I don't know when it's going to be, because everything's happening at once, but screw it, it looks cool. But what did you think? In the comments section below, give me your thoughts on this episode, where you think things are going, and if you thought having a more mature, talkative way of finishing a story works for this type of show. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe. And I'm not going to do a TCG question of the week this week, because I actually really got to get going with something, and I don't have time to think of one. But also, I do want to remind anyone out there who's over 18, please go vote. It is important. I'm not someone who's crazy obsessed with this election, and I don't think it's appropriate, and I'm not going to try and put my political views on anyone, but it's important. It's your chance to say what you want and to keep things sort of safe. And remember, every vote counts. Even if you vote for a third-party candidate who doesn't get it, or if your local elections aren't really a huge big deal this year, it is very important. So go out and go vote. If you're under 18, and if you're in high school, please pay attention to all this, because next presidential election, it's your turn. And if you're even younger than that, and you're not going to be able to vote next year in the next presidential election, please don't tell your parents I've been cursing, and I seriously hope I'm not the one teaching you curse words. If I am, don't say fucking shit in school, kids.